Okay, let's jump right into this explainer and demystify the real trajectory of artificial intelligence. Look, whether you're steering a lean startup or sitting on the board of a Fortune 500 company, understanding exactly where AI is heading, it's no longer just an IT concern. It's a systemic enterprise capability. We're talking about a technology that brings absolutely unprecedented risk, but also the potential for exponential ROI. So today, we're going to break down this incredibly complex evolution into a clear strategic roadmap. That way, you can actually align your capital allocation and risk matrices with the realities of tomorrow.
To do that, we'll follow a pretty straightforward roadmap. 1. The AI Evolutionary Horizon. 2. Narrow AI, the specialist. 3. General AI, the polymath. 4. Super AI, uncharted territory. And finally, 5. Navigating ethics and governance.
All right, Section 1, the AI Evolutionary Horizon. Let's establish a clear chronological baseline for the boardroom.
Right now, we are moving from the present, our current capability, which is known as narrow AI, toward the near future of general AI, and ultimately looking at the distant future horizon of super AI. Now, understanding this timeline isn't just some academic exercise. It's honestly a fundamental part of your fiduciary duty. As a corporate leader, you've got to look at this roadmap through a forecasting lens. The systems you're budgeting for today operate completely under the present paradigm. But the infrastructural investments, your enterprise data architectures, and those talent acquisition strategies you're locking in right this second, they absolutely must be resilient enough to handle that transition into the near future. Understanding these distinct phases is what allows a board to anticipate paradigm shifts rather than just scrambling to react to them.
Moving on to Section 2, Narrow AI, the specialist. This is our current reality.
So, narrow AI, sometimes called weak AI, represents systems that are designed and trained to perform a single task exceptionally well. Let's put this into a corporate context. Think of narrow AI as a hyper-efficient entry-level specialist. Imagine if you could just deploy 10,000 of these specialists overnight to automate your back-end processes, figure out logistical bottlenecks, or parse through terabytes of financial data. It absolutely crushes specific domains, executing them at literal superhuman speeds. But, and this is a massive but, here's the critical limitation. It has zero strategic vision. It fundamentally cannot operate outside its tightly programmed boundaries.
You're seeing these applications deployed as point solutions every single day. We're talking virtual assistants on our phones like Siri and Alexa, or those sophisticated recommendation engines keeping people hooked on YouTube and Netflix. And on an industrial scale, we see it in real-time language translators, the crazy complex neural networks guiding autonomous vehicles, and even the spam filters guarding your corporate networks. Honestly, while a spam filter might sound kind of trivial, at an enterprise scale, it represents massive data processing power, acting relentlessly within strict parameters to protect your organizational integrity.
However, the absolute most crucial operational takeaway here is that these systems operate solely on patterns and data. They completely lack consciousness, contextual understanding, or emotional intelligence. Because it lacks that cross-functional awareness, deploying narrow AI without really rigorous human oversight, especially in customer-facing or high-stakes financial environments, introduces massive enterprise risk. Why? Because a system will execute a flawed command flawlessly. A spam filter doesn't actually know it's reading an email, it's just recognizing a data pattern. It can't craft a nuanced, emotionally intelligent response to a sensitive client issue. Recognizing these hard boundaries is really step 1 in responsible AI governance.
Which brings us to Section 3, General AI, the polymath. This is where the paradigm totally shifts from just execution to actual comprehension.
If narrow AI is that hyper-efficient entry-level specialist, general AI is your most versatile C-suite executive. This is an intelligence that can understand, learn, and apply knowledge across a wide range of tasks, acting just like a human being in any context. For a boardroom, the implications of a machine that can learn new skills on the fly are just staggering. I mean, what does that mean for your long-term human capital strategy? General AI wouldn't just execute a marketing campaign. It would analyze global market sentiment, recognize a completely novel problem, devise a brand new corporate strategy, and then adapt to shifting environments autonomously. This kind of intelligence fundamentally disrupts traditional business modes.
The leap from narrow AI to general AI is basically the leap from a specialized tool to an autonomous thinker. On one side, we have domain-specific, boundary-restricted pattern recognition. On the other, we have a cross-functional, context-aware system with human-like cognitive abilities. A boundary-restricted system limits risk because, well, its failures are localized. A context-aware system, however, that touches every single part of your organization. It opens up vast new governance challenges because it integrates into the very strategic fabric of the enterprise, demanding an entirely new framework for corporate oversight.
Now, let's take a breath because we haven't achieved this executive-level AI yet. There are three massive roadblocks standing in the way, and we need to treat each one as a distinct challenge. First, there's the lack of a comprehensive model for consciousness. We simply don't fully understand how the human brain works well enough to program true self-awareness into a machine. Second, there's the immense difficulty of replicating abstract cognition. Think about how much of your corporate strategy relies on navigating ambiguity, understanding shifting market sentiment, using metaphors, or reading subtle social cues during a tense negotiation. Programming that abstract logic is a totally unsolved problem. And third, the unresolved ethical concerns and unpredictable outcomes. For your risk committees, this is the main event. We just don't fully understand how a truly general AI might prioritize its goals when faced with ethical dilemmas.
Moving right along to Section 4, Super AI, Uncharted Territory. If general AI is the executive, Super AI is the ultimate market disruptor.
Super AI, or artificial superintelligence, is a hypothetical system that surpasses human intelligence in absolutely all aspects. It could achieve goals across an unlimited range of tasks that humans can literally only dream of. Now, it is absolutely vital to note that this is hypothetical right now, but a board cannot simply tune this out as science fiction. Why? Because the relentless pursuit of super AI by major global tech firms is exactly what's driving the massive capital expenditures, the rapid infrastructural changes, and the intense compute wars we are dealing with right this second. Preparing for the shockwaves of this pursuit is a present-day strategic necessity. Looking at the duality of its potential impact reveals what is honestly the ultimate asymmetric risk profile. On the upside, the potential for unparalleled corporate and human innovation is astonishing. We're talking curing complex diseases, developing entirely new clean energy sources, and advancing space exploration. But on the downside, the existential risks are equally profound. An intelligence that vastly outpaces ours could become an unpredictable existential threat, potentially treating humans as inferior or obsolete. It's a spectrum ranging from creating unimaginable enterprise value to fundamentally altering our place in the universe.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Navigating Ethics and Governance. Because of the extreme stakes we've just mapped out, we must pivot from theory to the now what. I want to impartially highlight a very specific, striking warning, straight from the source material. It could pose an existential risk to humanity if it were to decide that humans are inferior or obsolete. When a system has the potential to view humanity, or, to put it on a corporate level, your workforce and your customers, as obsolete, standard IT compliance protocols are entirely insufficient. The implications scale far beyond basic operational risks. They touch on the very survival and ethical standing of your organization in society. So, to mitigate these unpredictable outcomes, your board must develop robust governance frameworks immediately. Let's break down these three essential pillars into actionable strategies. First up, establish exactly who maintains control over these systems. This means implementing literal and procedural kill switches, ensuring there is always a human in the loop for critical automated decisions, and defining crystal clear chains of accountability. Second, ensure safe and ethical development protocols. This requires aggressive internal red teaming, continuous bias testing, and totally transparent auditing of the data your models ingest. And third, guarantee strict alignment with human values. In a corporate context, this translates to safeguarding your brand reputation, ensuring the ethical sourcing of training data, and actively preventing your proprietary AI from optimizing for profit at the expense of consumer safety or legal compliance.
I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to consider as you shape the future of your organization. As AI capabilities inevitably scale from today's hyper-efficient specialists toward tomorrow's general or even superintelligence, are our corporate governance structures and our ethical frameworks evolving fast enough to actually control them? It's a question every single leader must answer today in order to secure the enterprise of tomorrow and fulfill their ultimate fiduciary duty. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.